Welcome to Fed by Fire. I'm Christian, where we dive deep into the world's most shocking true crime stories. Today, we're unpacking one of the most bizarre falls from grace in modern history, a case we've been keeping up with a lot. The tale of Ryan James Wedding. It just had a recent installment. A former Canadian Olympic snowboarder turned alleged international drug kingpin from shredding powder on the world's biggest stages to allegedly orchestrating murders and trafficking billions in you know what with the Sinaloa cartel. This story has it all: ambition, betrayal, violence, and an ongoing manhunt with a $15 million bounty. So, before we begin, a quick disclaimer. All information in this video is based on public records, court documents, and news reports. Wedding is presumed innocent until proven guilty. And these are allegations from ongoing investigations. And if you're sensitive to discussions of violence or drug trafficking, viewer discretion is advised. Born on September 14th, 1981 in Thunder Bay, Ontario, Ryan Wedding came from a family that was deep into winter sports. His grandparents owned the Mount Baldy Ski Resort. His uncle coached Canada's national alpine ski team. And his father was a world champion competitive skier. When Ryan was 12, the family moved to Coquitlam, British Columbia, where he swapped the skis for a snowboard and never looked back. By age 15, he was winning races and joined the Canadian national team. His talent shone bright. A bronze medal at the 1999 Junior World Championships, silver in 2001, a spot at the 2002 Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City. Sorry, I had to stop for a second, but let's continue. At just 20 years old, Wedding represented Canada in the men's parallel giant slalom, finishing 24th. No medal, but it was the pinnacle for many athletes. Yet, for Ryan, it was the end. He retired from competitive snowboarding at that point, and shortly after citing a burnout or perhaps a search for something more lucrative, what followed was a pivot that no one saw coming. So early life and everything, we didn't see this coming. But let's rewind to Ryan's roots in Thunder Bay. So, it is a rugged northern Ontario town that shaped his early years with snow basically in his bloodline. So, it's no surprise that he excelled in his family when they relocated to British Columbia, put him in the heart of Canada's snowboarding scene. As a teen, Wedding was a prodigy. He aggressive, fearless, and technically sharp. In 1999, at the Junior Worlds in Italy, he clinched bronze in parallel giant slalom. 2 years later, silver in Sweden. These wins propelled him to the Olympics. So, imagine the pressure representing your country at just 20 years old with the world watching. And he didn't podium, but he held his own against the best. So let's talk about post Olympics life. His life changed. Wedding enrolled in Simon Fraser University in Vancouver, studying business or kinesiology. Reports vary, but academia wasn't really his jam. He dropped out after 2 years, hitting the gym hard for bodybuilding and working as a bouncer in Vancouver's nightlife. So, this era hints at his first brushes with the underworld. Nightclubs, cash flow, connections. It's a classic entry point. So, but by the mid 2000s, Wedding had dipped into real estate, flipping properties, but funding allegedly from a massive grow up called 18 Carat Farms in rural Maple Ridge, British Columbia. So we're talking industrial grade scale, thousands of plants, thousands of millions of dollars. And, the first red flag came on September 22nd, 2006. RCMP was tipped off. They raided the farm. They found over 6,800 plants, dried buds worth 10 million, a shotgun, a ammo, and Wedding wasn't there, so the links were shaky. He didn't get no charges out of it, and nothing really stuck. But it was a close call that should have probably been a little bit of a wake up call. But instead, his game escalated. On June 13th, 2008, in San Diego, Wedding walked into a sting trying to buy 24 keys of that white girl from an undercover agent for smuggling to for smuggling them into Canada. He was busted in November 2009. A jury convicted him of conspiracy to distribute. He was sentenced to 48 months in federal prison. And in May 2010, he served his time, expressing remorse that custody opened my eyes to the devastation drugs cause. And he was released on December 7th, 2011. He moved to Montreal, but freedom was short lived. By 2015, RCMP's Operation Harrington targeted him for allegedly importing 750 million in that white from Mexico and Colombia with Sinaloa ties, as they say. So he fled before the raids, which netted 200 plus keys and arrests of associates. Canadian warrants issued for conspiracy and trafficking. So I'm probably going to butcher some of these names, y'all, but this is where the story darkens. And Wedding allegedly rebuilt in Mexico, protected by the Sinaloa cartel, the same group once led by the man, El Papi, El Chapo, and Wedding became El Jefe or Giant, overseeing a network trafficking 60 plus tons of what yearly from Colombia through Mexico to LA. Then Canada and the US, the Wedding criminal enterprise reportedly laundered billions via crypto, such as Tether, fostering a culture of fear with violence, building the empire from 2015 onward. So, Wedding's operations boomed. Partnering with Iranian and Russian smugglers, he was dominant, a force to be reckoned with. In Canada's market, boats, planes, semis, hundreds of keys moved weekly like it was nothing. Stash houses in Southern California and shipments to Vancouver on the regular and beyond. And the annual value they estimate at over 1 billion USD. He lived lavishly in Mexico under aliases, hiding his past, but violence defined his reign. Allegedly, he ordered hits on rivals, people who owed him money, and witnesses. By 2023, cracks showed a stolen 300 kilo shipment sparked retaliation and, warning. This section details alleged violent crimes. So, in November 20th, 2023, in Caledon, Ontario, Jagtar Sidhu, 57, and Harjabah Sidhu, 55, were gunned down at their home, and their daughter survived the shots. Mistaken identity. No way. Retaliation for a stolen. Retaliation for a shipment tied to a stolen shipment, maybe. And Lieutenant Andrew Clark allegedly ordered it. So, April 1st, 2024, Randy Fader was killed in Ontario over debts. And Wiki reports May 18, 2024, Muhammad Zafar, 39, he was slain in a similar manner. The boldest was Jonathan Garcia, a turned informant. In October 2024, Wedding allegedly placed a $5 million bounty on his lawyer, Deepak Paradkar, advised to kill the witness, and the case crumbles. So January 31st, 2025, in Medellin, Colombia, Mr. Garcia was shot 5 times in the head at a restaurant, and Wedding got a photo of the body, boasting about that the rat he paid $500K via encrypted apps. So these acts cemented his rep as, trying to be a modern Pablo. But investigations and current standing operations, Operation Giant Slalom, a joint FBI and RCMP probe, unsealed indictments in June 2024, continuing criminal enterprise, murder, drug conspiracies, and on October 17, 2024, 16 counts, 14 co-defendants. Whose Lieutenant Andrew Clark was arrested on October 8, 2024 in Mexico, extradited to the U.S. March 6, 2025, he's posted on FBI's Most Wanted with a $10 million reward. November 19, 2025, the reward is up to $15 million. U.S. Treasury sanctions more arrests, including his lawyer, Parakdar, who is bailed for $5 million. December 8, 2025, new photos were released of Wedding in Mexico trying to hide his identity, tattooed, changed appearance. And the latest, our recent installment on this case was December 25th, 2025. Mexican officials raid 4 properties linked to Wedding and seized 62 motorcycles, ice, bud, ammo, art, 2 luxury vehicles, identity documents, and 2 Olympic gold medals. But no arrest. The authorities say that they are closing in. And what drove Mr. Ryan Wedding from Olympic hopeful to alleged cartel boss? A post-athletic void? Greed? We'll never know. But until he's caught, and his story warns of how quickly life can spiral if you have info. They say to contact the FBI, and that 15 mil could be yours. So, thanks for watching, y'all. Like, subscribe, comment your thoughts. If you'd like to have a conversation and be a guest, let's talk about it. Let's get your story out there. If I butchered any of the names or any of my pronunciation was wrong on those names, I apologize for you guys. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Fed by Fire. I'm Christian. See y'all on the next one.